Why is it suddenly okay to talk about Nick Fuentes? This overlaps with what I've been talking about.
I might be the most controversial person on the internet right now.
Nick Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes, this child, this weird little gay kid in his basement.
Will you ever be willing to debate Nick Fuentes?
He's on a generational run. You know, of course he's passionate. Crazy. He's 26. He's doing his thing.
His face is everywhere on YouTube these days, but he's not actually allowed to use that platform himself. He's been denounced as a neo-Nazi and white supremacist, but his videos have gotten airtime on CNN. He's declared himself America first long before it was cool, but most of the core MAGA base actually can't stand him. He's spent years as a pariah on the right wing, yet once he had dinner with President Trump. He describes himself as a devout Catholic, but then goes viral for saying the N-word and denying the Holocaust.
I'm the realest Nick on the internet.
From a tiny single-camera studio, he's launched feuds with some of the biggest names in media and ratioed the richest man in the world multiple times at this point. He has been doxxed, deplatformed, debanked. He's even survived an assassination attempt, all before the age of 30. Some say he's a Fed, some say he's the future of the right, and his name is Nick Fuentes. And suddenly, after nearly a decade on the fringes, he's landed himself right in the middle of the national conversation.
Yeah,
so,
bizarre.
let's talk about it. I'm Amy Dangerfield. Let's get dangerous.
Okay.
So I actually got to meet Nick Fuentes back in 2023 when we were both guests on Sourcecast with Adam Sosnick. During that 2-hour live stream, Adam, Nick, and the rest of the panel fought over whether women should go to college. We debated Kanye West's run for president and addressed some of the most controversial things Nick had said up until that point.
You're saying that Hitler was not a bad guy?
It was contentious. It was controversial. And it became the third highest viewed episode that show ever produced. And that's the way it always goes when Nick Fuentes makes an appearance. Whether it's the Groyper army swarming the comment section to show support or furious critics expressing how much they wish he would drop dead, where Fuentes goes, views follow. Now, I have to admit something. By the time we finished filming 2 years ago, I found myself really liking Nick. And I'm not ashamed to say that.
It's because he's charismatic. Let's be real about it. Nick is a charismatic guy. It's hard to say exactly where he really aligns because I feel like some of it is him partially maybe hiding his power level, hiding what he wants to do if he ever does get in power. If somebody aligned does get in power, like what he'd command them to do. So, I don't know. I really don't know what to think of Nick Fuentes, to be honest. Not fully. I think he's right about a lot of things, but is his ideology what should happen? Like, is he right? I don't know, dude.
We even got a picture together after the show, which is interesting because as Nick mentioned himself very recently, most people on the right are reluctant to even get a picture with him. In fact, I believe he said Ashley St. Clair.
And he's calling himself an incel? Like, really? Like, really, bro? This chick's like fawning over him and he's calling himself an incel. Like, bro, what are you doing? Nobody believes you. You're just a weird gay kid in your basement.
One of Elon Musk's most recent baby mamas actually got fired from Turning Point for taking a picture with him.
The old Ashley St. Clair. You know, look, I like her.
And honestly, everyone on the panel treated him poorly. He was absolutely steamrolled. And myself and maybe one other person are the only people who actually gave him respect during that 2-hour filming. Now, just because I liked him doesn't necessarily mean that I agreed with him on everything.
Wow, really? You didn't agree with every single thing he said?
But
you still liked him? That doesn't make any sense.
During the heated arguments,
That's ridiculous.
Struck me as an articulate and respectful guy. He says what he believes with no filters, no apologies. And that's a quality that you can respect, even if you completely disagree with the point he's making.
Yeah, true. I mean, this is something that has been lost in the modern world. Who said that? the ability to hear and understand somebody's perspective without agreeing with them is a sign of an intelligent mind or some shit like that. Who said that? It's true. People have lost that. And also, you can like somebody as an individual without agreeing with every single thing that they said or think. It's not that complicated, bro. I'm against silencing of anybody. And people always make weird ad hom attacks against somebody like a Nick Fuentes because his views are deplorable, quote unquote. When really he's a guy who questioned things, who was a normal conservative at one point, that realized it was all bullshit. And so he went in a completely different direction based on how he feels about things. That's not wrong. That's called thinking for yourself. Do I agree with Nick Fuentes 100%? No. I don't think anybody should. I don't think, if you're an actual intelligent person, you probably won't align 100% with what anybody thinks or says.
And this actually seems to be a recurring theme as Fuentes continues on what some are calling a generational run. Take, for example, an X-Spaces conversation between Fuentes and then Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring in April of last year. During that discussion, Boring said that he listened to Fuentes' show quite often. He said he thought Fuentes was very funny and described him as one of the most talented political influences out there.
And I'll say this, Nick, that I listen to your show quite often. I think you're one of the most talented people out there.
Later, he even said that he'd be thrilled to have Fuentes visit one of the Daily Wire's popular shows for a debate. Now, this marked a big shift in tone because Fuentes has had a very, very icy relationship with the Daily Wire for years, beginning when he was a college student at Boston University. After Fuentes dropped out of college and began his career in far-right media, eventually attending the infamous Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, he found himself on the outs of the likes of Boring and Ben Shapiro, and things have remained tense ever since. Boring had previously called Fuentes a wicked little with evil ideas and a trolling little racist boss.
I hate all the fucking moralization from everybody, bro. I hate all of this instantly just jumping to credit somebody. It happens too often, and it's not honest, it's not real, it's all fake, it's propaganda at the end of the day. And this is how politics is played, and that's why I've always hated politics. It's not about actually contending with somebody's point of view. What they said is about making them look like a racist, like a Nazi, whatever you're not supposed to be. And then people like Nick Fuentes say, fuck it, I am a Nazi. Because how else are you supposed to defend against it? You're not. It's the same method as what Eminem did. You know, I am whatever you say I am. That's what it comes down to. That's the strategy, and it makes sense, and it works. That's the only way to battle against it.
But in the same breath, he also argued against banning Fuentes from Twitter. So even among the people who disagree with Nick Fuentes or hate what he stands for, there's still this weird level of respect for how he embodies free speech. Here's another example. Valuetainment's own Patrick Bet David. At a Turning Point event last year, Patrick was asked whether he would ever host Fuentes on the PBD podcast. Patrick said no for one simple reason, which is that Fuentes says the N-word way too much, and Patrick finds it to be disrespectful.
Would you be willing to have a controversial character on your show like Nicholas J. Fuentes?
Would I be? Let me tell you what I don't like. Okay? What's the purpose of saying the N-word over and over again? Tell me how that helps. You think you're somebody because you can get up and drop that word over and over again? Let's just say you...
She looks like she's getting kind of turned on by that.
You want to have a good family, you live a good life, you want to have kids. You want your kids to see those reruns of...
Bro, incel, Nick Fuentes can't call himself an incel anymore. I'm sorry, but you can't. It's not true.
You talking like that? I mean,
maybe you're gay. Maybe that's why you want to be an incel so bad, because you're gay and you're a far-right fucking political commentator. Those things don't really go together, but I mean, The ideas are still good regardless. So some of them.
I mean, listen, my son uses a certain word I don't even like speaking like that. Now, is he smart? Is he intelligent? Does he have some ideas? He does. He's a very good communicator. For me, though, if you want to have some time with me, the basis, very simple basis for me is respect. If you bring respect, I'll talk to you. If you don't, I can't do anything there. Thank you. God bless.
Hey, was that the...
So Fuentes responded.
Did he just go full Elon right there? Hold up, bro.
Saying that he will
You can't do that.
indeed stop using it. We can play that clip.
We're going to have to be political again. I'm going to have to be diplomatic. We're going to have to stop saying the N-word on the show. Did you see that, by the way, at America Fest? Patrick Bet-David said he wouldn't interview me.
Bro, I'm just saying, she definitely has a crush on him. I'm just saying.
Because I'm saying the
100%.
N-word all the time. That's so ridiculous. I mean, are you serious? But it's true. But it's true. We can't have a professional operation if we're always saying the N-word. So we all have to make sacrifices, and that is one of the great ones. So
One of the great ones. I love how he immediately disagreed with himself. He was like, it's ridiculous, but it's true, but it's true. And for the most part, guys, he actually stuck by that pledge, at least for a little while.
You can't help himself, bro. You can't.
We could go ahead and play this next one, please.
good to be back, my brother. Here, come on, we're brothers. But hey, good to hear from you, my Good to hear from, oh wait, I said we weren't gonna say the N-word. Well, that's not, it's just Nick. Not like
Yeah, exactly, bro.
I said that other thing, you know, so we're cool, but I appreciate you.
So we're
Hey,
cool.
good to be back.
Patrick saw that video and praised the profound way Fuentes communicates his message. We can play that clip, please.
To say this guy knows how to deliver a message in such a profound way is an understatement. For a guy this young, I don't know what he's going to turn into in 10, 20, 30 years from now.
Yeah, I do wonder, bro. I feel like he's gonna have some weird gay scandal of him like sucking off some guy. It's gonna be like he's gonna be like Vito from Sopranos, and then the far right is gonna ostracize him. But then Tony will be like, but guys, he's a good earner. he spread our message really well. Like, dude, that's what's gonna happen. I feel like it's too bad. It's too bad.
And I don't know if I agree with I don't even know all the values. I know some of the stuff he's talked about Israel and over the years, and I've seen him one time crossing a red light and, you know, Ben Shapiro and some of that stuff. And Turning Point USA, it's one thing you can't say about this guy. He actually believes what he talks about, and he gives me that vibe, and he's a very, very clear communicator. Yes, Nick.
I respect PBD's take more because it at least comes across as honest. And I think it is overall. I think PBD is a lot more honest than a lot of these guys.
Drop some of those words, bro. You're going to be invited to different places to get your message out. You don't need to say those words. You're plenty of a good communicator to not have to add that to your. I'm glad I don't know. Has he taken any advice or has he still I don't know if he's dropping in. Huh? Oh, good for him. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. I'm proud of him. Okay, good.
Proud of him.
Then he doubled down on that during the PBD podcast a few days later. Let's watch.
But you know what? I like the way he communicates. I think he's a phenomenal communicator.
Yeah,
If he dropped some of this stuff, he would have more of an opening to present his argument and say what he stands for. Make sense?
Then just last week, Patrick commented on the interesting 3 weeks that Fuentes has had. And what a dramatic scene that has been.
Patrick Bet-David said, why do you say the N-word? It's to show people I'm real. Why do you roll out of bed at 3 a.m. and do a show?
my N-word.
Why do you
Fire
say
away.
And who knows? Maybe in the future we'll have Nick on as well to have a conversation with him. But it's been a very
It's gonna happen at some point. It will.
interesting,
For sure.
specifically, Vinny.
I mean, Nick Fuentes has become too big for a lot of these guys to ignore, especially if they're not super opposed to him. Like, Charlie Kirk can never debate Nick Fuentes. It can never happen. But they've already kind of had him on. I mean, Valuetainment has anyway. The Jewish guy, Adam Sosnick, did. But people like Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro can never debate Nick because, let's be real, dude, there's some contradictions.
I would say it's been a very interesting last
with their messaging.
3 weeks.
Nick said it himself from his mouth. He's on a generational run, and right now, I don't care what anybody says, he is freaking on fire.
On top of his escalating feud with Candace Owens following their interview / debate / ambush last month, Fuentes is now also in a fight with Tucker Carlson and even Elon Musk. During an interview, Candace and Tucker mocked Nick as a weird little gay kid in his basement and even floated the theory that he might be a federal informant since he was never charged with being at the Capitol on January 6th. We can go ahead and play that clip, please.
And Nick Fuentes, this weird little gay kid in his basement in Chicago, is participating in a super PAC to bump off Joe Kent. Like, I've been around this my whole life. I know what that is.
Did sort of feel, and I said that to him, that he's like responding to orders somewhere, because why are you attacking me?
Well,
why are you attacking Dave Smith? What is the issue with Dave Smith? And he couldn't answer the question.
Exactly.
He couldn't answer the question. He was just like, well.
The fakest thing I've ever seen.
Now, Fuentes fired back on a 3-hour Rumble stream challenging Carlson to a debate, accusing him of being a trust fund kid tied to CIA influence through his father, and claiming Carlson's attacks were retaliation from Fuentes exposing his neocon tendencies and ties to figures like Peter Thiel, for example.
That's all true.
Around the same time, Fuentes clashed with Elon on X, even though Musk was the one who reinstated him on the platform in the first place. But a few days ago, Musk replied, to a post accusing Fuentes of being an FBI informant, then suggested it doesn't make sense the FBI leaves him alone unless he's an asset. Fuentes then went on to accuse Musk of fedjacking him, falsely painting him as an informant, and coordinating that attack with Carlson and Owens. He also claimed that Musk amplified the doxing post that led to an armed man showing up at his front door. And in each case, what Fuentes said warranted a response.
Elon Musk, you weren't born here. Candace Owens, your husband, wasn't born here. Go the home.
That's how we know his generational run is actually real. A few years ago, no one, and certainly not someone in Elon Musk's position, would have felt the need to respond when Fuentes called them out. Now, he's right there, leading the conversation. And I think PBD recognizes this, which is why he said maybe in the future we will have him on. And bear in mind, this was after.
I mean, he will. Nick isn't going anywhere at this point. Yeah.
Fuentes ended his.
He beat the odds of the suppression that he went through when he was just a child, pretty much. And now he's matured. He has a cult-like fan base. And he's grown past the point he can't be ignored anymore. He's too big. He's too big to ignore. He's there. He's pushing the conversation forward, whether people like Tucker like it or not. And them attacking him in a coordinated fashion only makes them look like they're not real. It's very suspicious how all these people went after him at the same time.
Rant against Tucker and Candace with more than just a few N-words.
Why do you say you're going to have hate sex with Candace Owens? Why do you say it's to show you I'm the real on the show?
Now, I have no idea if we're ever going to see a PBD Fuentes podcast. That's up to them to figure out. And I'm as curious as the rest of you to see how that would go. But it speaks to a very important point. Something has shifted in our national conversation in the last 6 months that has suddenly made Nick Fuentes a person we are allowed to discuss. He's not allowed back on YouTube, but his clips are everywhere. He's a topic of discussion on some of the most high-profile political podcasts, and even CNN plays his clips whenever he criticizes Trump in a way that they like, that fits their narrative. Fuentes has built an online political machine that the establishment doesn't understand how to fight. His audience is loyal, his platform is independent, and his name is now unavoidable in political media. Even his critics have to say his name to attack him, which only fuels the cycle, right? This is why the
Yeah, it's
pendulum effect matters, guys. Every attempt to cancel, silence, or debank him has forced him to innovate. He has turned the censorship campaign against him into a
Well, especially somebody like Nick Fuentes that's not playing this weird optics game. You can think what you want about him, but there's no doubt that but you can't deny that he believes what he preaches. Like 100%.
badge of honor. And the more suppressed he is,
Even
that
if he is gay.
angrier
Who cares, guys? It's 2025. We need to get past this.
and louder he gets. And maybe it's because all of a sudden other people are able to relate to him. And this is an interesting little anecdote. I actually put up a poll on my Instagram story asking people what their opinion was of Nick Fuentes. And the answers were love him, hate him, agnostic, or who is Nick Fuentes. And I was very surprised to see that out of the 4,000 people who viewed that story, and I think it was about 1,000 people or like 700 to 1,000 people who voted on it.
Nick, you need to beat the gay allegations. You need to marry somebody that looks like this, okay? Just saying.
The top
That's the only way.
selected answer was love him by a lot. Like it wasn't close, it wasn't tight. And may I just add that this is the most engagement I have ever received on an Instagram story. And I post cute selfies all the time. So I'm kind of annoyed by that, but it just goes to show how much attraction and virality Nick Fuentes attracts.
True.
And a lot of that is due to the pendulum effect of not being allowed to talk about him. Identity politics, cancel culture, and debanking are not just weapons against one man. They are tools being normalized against anyone who challenges powerful interests. Yes, there is a risk when controversial voices gain traction, but there's an even greater risk in creating a system where dissent is crushed by financial and technological forces. The pendulum is swinging. The public is growing wary of gatekeepers. And when you ban someone from every platform and they still find a way to reach millions, it tells you something. People are hungry for unfiltered voices, even the ones they disagree with. Guys, the warning is clear. If you keep building a society where only pre-approved speech is allowed, you will push more and more and more
Well, I mean, until there's a major internet crackdown, that's the next step. That will happen.
people to seek out
I
the
think before 2030.
forbidden voices. And the rallying call is just as clear. In a free country, we have to defend the right to speak, to challenge, and to dissent. Because today, it's Nick Fuentes, but tomorrow, it might be you. If you liked this clip and you want to watch more like it, you can go.
Yeah, ideally that's how things will work, but I doubt it. Good video. Check her out. I don't know who this is, but Amy Dangerfield. She's hot, so I don't know. Check out her videos. Let's see what else has she posted. Cracker Barrel. Just a bunch of cultural stuff, huh? Big balls. So stupid, dude.